I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning. Good morning. Baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, it is. But it's warm in here. Welcome to Out Chicago.
Welcome.
Yeah, and buckle up and bear down, everybody. The Misadventures in Oligarchy begins tomorrow.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
This is going to be really fun. TikTok's gone.
For now. He already tweeted today he's going to sign an executive order to postpone the ban.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Should be a interesting next 48 hours.
It's going to be... there's a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on
right now, which is why we have Indivisible Chicago on the show today. They are a national leader in the grassroots movement to advance progressive values, influence elected officials, and win elections. And on January 25th, they are hosting an event to discuss how they will continue the fight against the MAGA agenda. Indivisible Chicago board member Denise Polyak joins us later on this hour, and we're going to do a little redo. Last week we were supposed to have the director of Porchlight Music Theater's Fun Home, the Tony Award-winning musical based on Alison Bechdel's critically acclaimed graphic novel. Director Steven Spellhart is going to be joining us today on their opening night, and it's cold.
Yeah, but, this city's tough.
Oh, I know.
They'll bundle up and
Big
go out
shoulders.
and see that show.
Heck yeah.
We always do.
Heck yeah. Yeah. And of course, like I said, the Misadventures in Oligarchy begins.
There's that.
So how are y'all doing out there? Give us a call, 773-763-9278. That number again, 773-763-9278. I do know that's usually I'm much more peppy.
Yeah, I know.
And today I'm just kind of like, But
I'm looking forward to tomorrow because I'm looking forward to seeing the National Football Championship tomorrow night.
Oh, well,
but
there
there's
we
that
go.
icky thing we have to get through tomorrow day.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm still on the fence about, it's like a car accident I can't take my eyes off of. I feel I need to watch so I can, of course I'm not going to be on the air for the next 2 weeks on my cruise. So I guess I don't have that. I always say I have to watch these things. I have to tune in because I have to be knowledgeable for our show. My friend Kathy Richardson, who I'll get to in a moment, did a great show Friday night. She's like, you tell everybody not to watch it. Don't give him the ratings.
Don't give him the ratings. Nope.
He'd lie about him anyway.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because truth is just not in his milieus. But it's...
I know, it just feels really weird. This feels very different than the first go round.
We know what we're getting into and worse because now he's figured out that he can get away with anything. And the Supreme Court has since come around to concur with that.
Yeah.
So we do have all of that to look forward to. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's tomorrow. And it's also the thing that drives me crazy that it also falls on the Martin Luther King holiday.
I know, me too.
I
think he was inaugurated the last time on, I think it was Martin Luther King Day too, if I recall.
All right.
Oh my God! It just the ironies. It's all we're gonna put a felon in office. Aren't we proud, America? We have our first felon. They're criminals. I watched the Peter Hegseth.
Yeah.
And then I had to get off of that because it was just. I was hoping that there'd be some common sense and some decency among the Republicans, but they're on board. They don't give a darn. No. The guy's got no character, no experience. He's a reprehensible guy, and they're all on board. So this is what we're going to be dealing with, and...
we can dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll dive into that later. But on a happier note, let's talk about a happier note.
Let's talk about happy things.
I had some fun things this week.
Well, good.
Because fun is what we need to do when we can't control other things. And I was invited to the Cubs uniform. It's called the alternate uniform that they wear on Fridays. They were wearing these Wrigleyville ones for years. And I think they lost most of the games that they wore when they wore those, but they're kind of cool. But they're doing away with those, and they have a new uniform.
They're changing outfits?
They're changing outfits for their
cute,
Friday
cute.
home games.
Friday home games, so it's casual Friday.
And
it's nothing but chinos and denim shirts.
Sort
Is that
of.
what's going on?
It's
okay.
a retro.
Yeah.
It's a retro-looking powder, kind of a baby blue jersey.
Like a Tiffany blue kind of thing?
Not a Tiffany blue.
No, okay.
No. More like a light sky blue, baby blue.
Okay,
and it's got kind of a retro logo, and the theme of it is the blue is supposed to honor Chicago blues music. And they had this party it actually is. Devin is, well, we don't have Facebook today, everybody, so if you're wondering why you can't get it, we're having technical difficulties. But Devin does have this shirt, a hoodie on that is exactly the color.
So that is the color of blue.
Whatever you call that.
Yeah, that's a nice baby blue. Almost a Tiffany blue, I would say. It's not cornflower, and it's definitely...
No, it's not cornflower.
No, but yes, it is. It's
That's
lovely.
basically it. So anyway, they had it at Kingston Mines, and they had Wayne Baker Brooks and Little Ed playing, and I ran into all kinds of people. I didn't, you never know when you're going to one of these parties who you're going to run into. My brother was there, Nick, and about 100 people I knew. So it was fun. Players were there. Sammy Sosa was there, this one and that one.
Slamming Sammy Sosa.
Slamming Sammy Sosa. Or as Carol Mosley Braun called him, Slamming Sammy Sosa.
The creator of marches. Yes.
But yeah, the creator of marches. Anyway, that was fun on Thursday night. I got out and saw a lot of friends and had fun. And then on Friday, Kathy Richardson, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago, did her Goddesses of Rock show.
City Winery.
Oh my God, the crowd was so cool. A lot of our friends were there. Scott Tracy Bain was there. She hadn't seen Kathy in a while. My friend Kara Caravu, who was on WLS FM. My friend Andrea Darlis, who's on WLS AM and here. She used to be here occasionally. Great friend. And Wendy Snyder from WGN. It was all the women of media were there.
All right, come on
they
now.
love their women, their goddesses of rock. And it was a great night. Kathy kicked butt as usual.
Of course. You got to hop up there.
I did a guest spot on the Pretenders' Middle of the Road, and even though it was just a moment, I did get a lot of amazing response.
There we go. Of course.
I was very happy, and then we partied afterwards at the City Winery. Just loves, I think, when Kathy plays because she's got so many friends there that the party,
they just
the
hang
green
out.
room is like they're always in there. Okay, the show has been over for 2 hours. It's time to go. But we had a really nice evening, and Kathy just, she's just an amazing talent, and I'm surprised she's not one of the hugest stars in America as far as vocals go.
We know a lot of people who are like, why are you not more famous than you are?
It's, a lot of times it's luck of the draw. It
really
really
is. It really is.
It really is just, the way it goes. But anyway, she killed and the crowd loved her, and she's off to tour the world with Jefferson Starship now in the coming weeks.
Amazing.
So she snuck that in there. And then we just were cozy at home yesterday and doing things and watching football and relaxing and
as you should.
Gearing up for the future.
How's Maggie doing?
Thanks for asking. Maggie is doing fantastic.
Oh,
good. She's in full remission right now. She's got one more chemo tomorrow. And then we just hold our breath and
Maggie
hope.
is her dog, by the way.
Maggie
Just
is my
laying
dog.
it.
Yeah, Maggie's my
there
dog.
we are.
And Kathy and I she's going to be 13 in April, and she runs around like a puppy. I mean, she really does.
Those little pitties, they zoom and they can jump, and they're
they're just cuddling. She had
They're
a paw on
adorbs.
my arm this morning. So Maggie's doing great. We just hope that, that the remission will last. Obviously there's nothing that's out of our control after. But we're going to cancel our trip to Mexico so we can spend more time with her. Yeah, we're not going to be going because we don't want to leave her.
I get it.
And I also had some sad news. My dear, dear Aunt Stella, the eldest of my mother's siblings, passed away Monday at 102.
Wow.
I was telling Scott before we went on the air, she, of course, all my mom's siblings were brought up Republican by my grandfather, who came here in the came here, what years? He was born 1880s, came here like right at the turn of the century. No, because he was 13 when he came here. Anyway,
right, yeah.
Republican. And my aunt all my aunts, my mother and my 3 aunts, they completely converted to being Democrats. And my Aunt Stella was so committed to the Democratic Party that she, in her 80s, was driving women to the polls, in some cases African-American women who had never voted in an election before.
Wow. All right.
She was a force of nature. She was on Facebook up until the day she couldn't be anymore. And she asked questions. I was with her at my uncle's funeral in November, and I sat with her at the luncheon, and she said, Ellen, can I ask you a question? I go, sure, Aunt Stella. She goes, have you ever thought about running for political office? The question she asked me at the funeral before that at the church was, Ellen, are you familiar with Ludacris?
Wait, what?
Yes. I'm telling you.
Wait, why? What brought up Ludacris?
She said, because he played in Dayton last night, and I wondered if you knew him. I mean, she was on top of
Luda.
everything that was
go.
going on. And she fell, she broke her hip, she was in the hospital and then in rehab for a week, and she caught COVID.
Oh,
and,
man.
So I'm heading to Dayton, Ohio for
I'm so sorry.
the third funeral of my mother's siblings in less than 4 months.
Oof, I'm so sorry.
But anyway, I love my Aunt Stella. I'm going to miss her. She was a role model for not only me, but anybody that thinks that just because you're older, you can't be involved and you can't. I mean, older.
Oh, well,
100,
that's 102.
plus.
That's amazing. That's incredible. What a life,
she was
you know?
a beautiful human being.
And that right there is the key to longevity is to keep running and doing and learning, like being a lifelong learner.
Reading, lifelong learner.
That's what it's all about.
She got her eyes, things go. She was 100. She couldn't read as much anymore, and it just killed her. But that's what made her who she, kept her going. My father was the same way. Those that read, they keeps their brain going. And
Yeah.
So anyway,
being a
I'm
voracious learner, and
yes.
and being active and doing and getting out and moving around.
Don't be afraid to learn. When people
No.
would tell me, they're in their late 60s years ago, I'm too old for a computer. You know what? My dad's 90 and he teaches at the senior center.
There
he
we
teaches
go.
computers. So don't tell me you're too old for computers.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyway, so that's what's going on with me, and leaving on Friday for my blues cruise. How about you? Yeah. Well, how was your week?
Oh, it was pretty, fine.
Yeah,
it was just fine and dandy.
Yeah.
It's a time of year. I'm kind of thankful to have a little bit of downtime. Just a little bit that's going on there. We've been. It's so freaking cold right now, and we have our friends' dogs. We now have 3 dogs.
Oh, God, of all the times.
Now, of all the time, I know. I'm like, oh, great, but we got a little one. Who is very cute.
Age or size, or both?
Both. He's very cute. He's super duper cute.
How old is he?
He's, I don't know, 4.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay. So he's not a puppy. Right?
No, not a puppy, but he recently had, a procedure done. And he was on some medication, and the side effect is, this little one has been peeing all over our house.
Well, oh my God.
I know. It's stop. We've had to wash 2
Is it time
rugs.
for a diaper?
Oh, I don't know if we can. I don't know. That just seems too demeaning.
Well, we had to do it when when they didn't know what she had, she was on prednisone, and she was going.
Oh, prednisone. Yeah, that'll do it. That's going on. So we've had dogs. They're all good friends. They're the good boy gang.
You're a very good friend to take care of a dog that's doing that. That isn't your dog.
That was
hard enough when it's your dog.
That was information that we received late in the game.
Oh, and by the
way,
do you have hardwood or do you have carpeting anywhere?
It was he found all the rugs.
Oh yeah, they do like the rugs.
So,
they like the rugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just been doing that, but we're just trying to just gotta hang out. Today's our anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
19?
21. 21 years. Yeah. I know.
Never been
Bananas,
kissed.
right?
21 years.
21 years and never been kissed. So it's our anniversary. So happy anniversary there.
Happy anniversry, Jerry.
Yeah,
and Scott.
Yesterday we just said thank you. It is a monumental feat. There we are. Thank you. Yeah, we I don't know, for some. Again, I've been amazed at how much the nostalgia thing has been going on with me, and I can't quite figure out why it's kicking in so hard. But
I can probably figure it out.
What
because times are so tough right now. We reach deep into things that are comforting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's been going on for. I guess maybe that's the same thing. It's been going on for about a year. I'm just kind of like, and I'm usually not a nostalgic person, but I do find things that odd things that bring me great comfort.
Like?
Going to a mall. I am such a kid of the 80s. I love going to
Which
a mall.
They're almost all closing.
They're almost all closed. We went to Old Orchard yesterday because we're like, all
okay,
right.
the weather was still okay.
It was still okay, but it was still a little chilly.
Yeah.
But it was like we wanted to go get new glasses, and just kind of. So we spent the day kind of. I bought this little sweater.
Oh yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, I feel kind of like Ethan Hawke in Reality Bites, but there's sort of '90s vibe. But yeah, so we just kind of like, Jerry started a new job this week. So that's been kind of a big adjustment, in our schedules and all that sort of stuff. So we kind of took the day to just kind of be with each other. And we went around. I made him his favorite chicken and dumplings last night.
I love
and it was the first time I'd ever did like the rolled out dumplings.
Oh, yeah, you cut them out.
Uh-huh. That was challenging, but it was good. It was great. He was like, this is a death row meal.
I love chicken and duck. I probably had it like once in the last 10 years.
I'm telling you, it is the most comforting food. So we just we got so much firewood and we just sat in a pile of puppies and ate chicken and dumplings.
Well, that sounds very comforting on a winter
very comforting
day.
and very hygge going on. We are so grandma and grandpa gay.
So so you didn't eat out, you cooked. Yeah, last night.
Yeah. Well, because we got these dogs, so we had to like make sure that we got home, got them out, and
especially
all that stuff.
Especially the little one. Yeah.
Especially the little one. He's like, I'm like, dude, I'm a dude.
How long do you have them for?
Until Tuesday. We've had them since Thursday. So it's it's challenging. Just kind of picking them up and putting them outside. What's going on? Yeah, but you
could do what you can do.
We can only do what we can do, and it's wonderful. Again, we've just been we were kind of like under the weather a little bit this week as well. So just recuperating, spending time together, just hanging out and hanging on for dear life with each other,
I started feeling under the weather yesterday, and Kathy bought this elderberry syrup that she read boosts your immune. And I literally woke up thinking I was getting something, and I took a spoonful of it, and I was completely fine. It's weird.
All right, come on,
elderberry syrup.
All right,
could
elderberry.
Be a new miracle cure.
Well, that's cool.
Who knows?
That's
Just
cool.
trying to give some helpful medical hints on the show.
You know what? Yeah, I know. You know, it also is a miracle cure for the blues.
What's that?
Did you know that Out Chicago, our little show here, has its very own podcast?
Yes, I did.
Two, actually. Out Chicago full episodes and Out Chicago featured interviews. Just search for Out Chicago wherever you get your podcasts, or get the podcast links on our show page by visiting heartlandsignal.com/out-Chicago. On that page, you'll also find recent interviews with Michael Sheehan, Randy Rainbow, Judy. I'm Michael Sheehan. I'm Cheyenne. Sorry, it's Michael Cheyenne. I'm so excited about seeing that show on Friday. I'm going to Avaz.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so excited.
Yes,
Cannot wait to talk about that.
I want to see that show,
yeah,
too.
Something to look forward to this week. We also have interviews with Judy Gold, Chicago Alderperson Lamont Robinson, Michelle Williams of Death Becomes Her, and more. Again, go to heartlandsignal.com/out-Chicago for that. That'll put a little pep in your step.
It sure will.
I think. Mm-hmm. There we are. We should probably take a break.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah, but before we do that, this part of Out Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. Hey, attention, listeners, financial planners, CPAs, and divorce attorneys. If you are wondering why your mortgage professional has not returned your calls, it's probably because they are one of over 165,000 mortgage professionals who didn't renew their license over the past 24 months. If you're purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. In the past 24 months, while other companies have been shutting down and loan officers are not renewing their licenses, Team Hochberg has been adding loan officers stronger than ever and would love to earn your business. Now let's review. In the past 24 months, mortgage companies have closed and over 165,000 loan officers exited the mortgage business, while Team Hochberg has expanded and is stronger than ever. If you'd like to work with an experienced mortgage professional, call Team Hochberg now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. The number again is 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back in, we're going to kind of talk the last days of the Biden administration and what's going on with the balance of checks and like the balance powers. Again, kiddos,
Very little balance.
Buckle up. Buckle up, kiddos. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
Hey, this is Mark Patton, and I'm from Spring Clean My Nightmare on Elm Street, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here and Ellen Miller rolling along on this very, very chilly day. Hey, this is going to be a very big week, and this week on Choose Views, Richard Chu will be talking to Demara Cooper of the Center of Popular Democracy, immigration attorney Kate Lincoln Goldfinch, Illinois State Representative Will Guzzardi, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, and much more. Choose Views weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central on WCPT 820. Make sure you check that out because, again, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big week. And I honestly don't know exactly how to feel. It's a lot that's coming down the pike. As we were talking about earlier, this feels very different than the 2017 inauguration.
Why? How so? In your mind?
Just because, like you said, he is filling his cabinet with people who have pledged fealty to him. That's what seems to be happening right now with the entire GOP. The Supreme Court is basically said, you can do whatever you want as president because you're the president. And you have the people in Congress who they have both houses, and they are based on their actions this week. I broke my rule of not listening to news. I listened to far too much news this week. It just seems like, and while it's still chaotic of a transition that's going on because, people haven't been approved yet, and they're supposed to be setting up court dates. They keep pushing things down the pike, like what's her butt, Tulsi Gabbard. Like she was supposed to already be gone through a confirmation hearing. They keep kicking that can down the road. It just feels like there's something different is approaching, and I think you could hear that in President Biden's farewell address that he gave on Wednesday. Did you listen to it?
Yes, we did. We did hear
oof.
it. Yeah. It was a stern warning, but what can we, yes, we know. We know an oligarchy is coming.
Yeah. Yeah, what he said today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedom, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. He urged Americans to stay engaged in the democratic process and to continue to fight the progress in areas like addressing climate change, which we see happening in California right now. The powerful forces want to wield their unchecked influence to eliminate the steps we've taken to tackle the climate crisis to serve their own interest for power and profit. We must not be bullied into sacrificing the future of our children and our grandchildren. We must keep pushing forward and push faster. That's... And part of it is a little frustrating. It's like, well, you were president.
Pardon?
Part of the frustration was like, okay, dude, yes, you're president. You can still do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's.
Well, I think the little ray of hope that I've been hearing is that it's still going to be tough for him to get things done because the majorities the Republicans have in Congress are so slim.
Right.
And so...
But they still have the majorities.
But they do have the majorities. And just like these confirmations I was alluding to earlier, it looks like I thought Hegseth was going to be the one that would for sure stumble because of his drinking habits.
You mean showing up drunk getting kicked out of places because he was drunk?
The place he ran was in debt. The woman accused him of two of them were in debt. The woman accused him of rape,
sexual assault.
Sexual assault. But nothing phases these Republicans. Nothing phases them. Criminality is right up their alley because they supported a criminal president. Remember on January 6th that night when some of the Republicans, McConnell, even Lindsey Graham, they denounced what Trump did, and then boy, they got their heads turned around.
They turned around real quick,
and they have no spine. They're already. This is like shades of Jimmy Carter's when Reagan was inaugurated. he did all the work to get the hostages out, and of course Reagan took the credit. And once again, I heard on the morning shows this morning, you know, 3 women, Israeli hostages were released today. Thank goodness, these young women. God only knows what they've been through. But, of course, the Republicans were on the morning Sunday morning shows saying it only happened because of Trump, because he threatened for all hell to break loose if it didn't happen. Well, that's BS. You know what? You think Netanyahu cares about America's threats? He only does what works out for him. And, you know, Biden worked long and hard, as did our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, to get this done. And it just sickens me to hear them, oh, it's because of President Trump. He'll be taking credit tomorrow. He'll be talking about the highest ratings in history for his inauguration. But we know, we've seen the playbook. We know that what we're going to be hearing and seeing are smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
And that's why having Indivisible on later today here on the show in a little bit, to help us feel that we have some role, some power, some action that we can take is, I think, going to be good for our psyches, because right now a lot of us are feeling pretty helpless.
Yeah. Especially when we have, you know, Biden in his speech on Wednesday also said our system of separation of powers, checks and balances, it may not be perfect, but it's maintained our democracy for nearly 250 years, longer than any other nation in the history that's ever tried such a bold experiment. And I still believe in that bold experiment. I still believe that it can happen, although it's getting very, very, like, ever since the Tea Party came into power, like in the early 2000s with President Obama, it has been nothing but our side versus their side. Like, there's no bipartisan work together anymore. It's all about how we can screw the other guy, like the other side.
Yeah.
Like, there's about not trying to actually help the American people, not trying to get legislation passed that will, like, improve all people's lives. It's all about how do we try to get a win for our team by, owning the libs or whatever it is. And that is the biggest thing. And that was kind of on display during these confirmation hearings this year. Everyone is being, the people that are going into these cabinet positions are there basically because they've either bought their way in and or they have pledged their fealty to him. They have bent the knee.
Yes.
And one of the things that I think is so just bizarre bananas is they are all talking about, this is going to be 4 years of toxic masculinity. Like, that's what it is. I know everyone out there is rolling their eyes just because I just used the phrase toxic masculinity, but it's very, very true. They believe that strength and power comes from hurting other people, hurting people that are less than. You know, it is punching down, as we say in the comedy world, as opposed to punching up. But there's, and like the show of man, because even Zuckerberg, when he was like, we're getting rid of the fact checking and we're getting rid of DEI and we're getting rid of all of this stuff and like free speech. We finally need free speech. People keep screaming about free speech, but they're not saying that there are still consequences for when you say something that is hateful, dangerous, or just flat out dumb and wrong. And this idea, Zuckerberg, in an interview on some podcast, was talking about how, the corporate culture, we need a little more masculine energy. And I'm like, I don't understand what does that mean?
What more do you need?
What does that mean? And my whole thing, my frame of being, like, what is masculine? What does it mean to be a man, or just to be anybody of character? Is to be a person of character and to be a person who stands up for what you believe in and who will not bend the knee to some ding dong over here who all he wants is just people to look at him. That's all he wants. He wants people to look at him, and he wants people to fear him. And that is what we're going to be up. That's what is going to happen for the next 4 years. He right now is just so beside giddy with glee because we're all like in a tizzy.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm like, I guess I'm not really in a tizzy. It's just more like I'm dumbfounded. I just don't understand.
I can't imagine. I still. The fact that 49% of Americans elected, the ones that voted, I should say, 49% of those that voted. Here's my question too. We know after he took office in 2017, his first words right after the inauguration pretty much is, I'm going to start my reelection campaign.
Right.
And so we knew that everything he did, including downplaying COVID, was so that the economy would stay good so he would have something to run on. It's all about keeping power. Now he's not going to be able to run again, hopefully. So what's it going to be about? It's going to be about enriching his wealth. That is what this 4 years is going to be about.
He's already been doing it. How I don't understand, like the emoluments. Like think about that.
Nothing matters anymore.
Nothing matters anymore. The man has been grifting the American people for years, and just even leading up to this, he is still selling. Now he's got a new edition of a Bible. It's the inauguration edition. He's selling guitars, watches, a fragrance, Bitcoin now. I guess. Yeah, he is selling everything and people are buying it. And it's not going to help the American people. It is not going to help his administration get legislation passed, because what they're focusing on right now are more about like trans people in sports, particularly trans women in sports, and like it's ridiculous, or which bathrooms that people can use. It's not going to help it's going to help him. It is nothing but giving him money, and I don't understand why people are still doing it.
It says a lot about our country and the people in it. I mean, it's like we're in two different worlds. The world of facts and truth, and the world of Donald Trump, which is he says whatever he feels like saying, with no regard to truth or facts. We have elected a man with no scruples and no morality. No morality,
none.
No conscience, and guess what? No soul. This is what America has said they want leading the free world. And this is what makes me not sleep at night.
Yeah.
Because I can't get over it. I got to sleep. I don't. I wake up and I think about this crazy stuff. But
yeah.
He's, we never had a president, no matter what their party was. It simply just did what he wanted and said whatever he wanted, regardless of the truth of it. And he saw that he got away with it. He's gotten away with everything. Didn't you all feel that finally, when we had all of these indictments, that something was going to stick? And lo and behold, nothing.
Yep.
Nothing sticking. But I still am a believer that karma will come back and that truth will eventually. I just hope it doesn't take.
Well, it's going to take decades.
Another lifetime.
Like, I mean, we are in such a celebrity culture.
Yeah.
I mean, half of his cabinet is pulled off of because he saw him on TV.
Yeah.
It's like that's what's going on there. You've got people like Pam Bondi, who's supposed to be like for the attorney general, who cannot say that he did not win the 2020 election.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was the big thing.
Yeah, she could not say that. But do you think the Republicans care? Not one bit. Because they say it too.
Yeah, I know. But and that's the part that it's again, it keeps going back to Goebbels. Make the lie big enough,
people will believe
it. And you keep saying it, people are going to believe it. It soon becomes the truth. That is what they are sticking
from the
to.
Hitler playbook. It's the Roy Cohn, all of it. It's. Okay. Oh, back up.
I know.
We can do it.
We can totally do it.
We can do it. We just have to stay united. We have to stay focused, and we have to, keep our eye on the prize, which is democracy at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that's just also that again is just really just confusing me so much. Again, is like equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you.
I know.
I don't know why people are so upset, and because right now they are focusing on DEI.
Yeah.
They are focusing on LGBTQ issues, particularly trans issues.
Yep.
And immigration, which that is another thing that's like, Chicago, we're going to be screwed. We're going to be the Chicago. I hope we're buckling up, because we are going to be the focus of his ire. If you remember, we kicked him out of our city when he was running in 2016. He tried to have a speech at University of Illinois, UIC.
Yeah.
And there was so many protests that he left, that he ran away.
Yes.
He doesn't the reason why we have this man right now is because President Obama went after him. He called him out. and his fragile masculine ego got bruised, and so he had to, like, this is all just a reign of grievance and revenge is what it feels like. And we're kind of,
They say they're starting with Chicago, but then I also heard this morning there's a little walking back on it. They think they can do these things.
well,
I
and
don't
then
think
all
they
of,
can,
and the thing
honestly.
that's just going to be like that, that's giving me just some comfort is the fact that he's saying how he ran on lowering grocery prices.
And now he's like, oh, I can't do that.
Right. And also ending the war in Gaza. Oh, it's much more complicated than you thought it was. And like ending all of the XYZ, all of these lowering taxes, which he's probably going to do for the corporations. But all of these people who have voted for him because of these things, particularly the grocery, the stuff that hits home,
They're not going to benefit from
he's
him.
not. There's no, and it's like that's the only thing. I'm like, all right, this is what you wanted. You believed him,
But, you know,
but you shelled out some money to buy a guitar or a Swiss watch
I
made in
I don't
North
trust
Dakota.
their judgment. Even,
No,
yeah,
not but that.
sadly.
But it's like, but that is what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, that's what we're
And
gonna be doing.
That's is what we're going to be doing. And what we need to be doing right now is taking a break. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Indivisible Chicago to talk about like what we can do.
Yes, the positives.
As we are moving forward, we're giving action steps here. So please stick around. You don't want to miss our conversation with Indivisible Chicago right here on Out Chicago on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'm Jay Nair with Tricone Chicago. Welcome back to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller,
Yes.
rolling along.
Yes, we are.
All right, like we said, tomorrow is the inauguration day, and we got to buckle up for a bumpy ride. Fortunately, we've got folks like Indivisible Chicago, who is a national leader in the grassroots movement to advance progressive values. And on January 25th, they are hosting an event to discuss how they will continue the fight against the MAGA agenda. And joining us now is Indivisible Chicago board member Denise Polyak. Denise, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you for taking time out today to join us. I know it is a very strange and busy time for folks right now. So, can you tell our listeners? I mean, we've had an Indivisible Chicago on the show many times. Can you just remind our listeners a little bit about the work that you do?
Yes. I mean, Indivisible Chicago came into existence after Trump came into the presidency in the beginning of 2017. And we've been around ever since promoting and progressive values in our city. In the first years of the Trump administration, a lot of that was resisting the things that he and his administration were trying to do. We played an important role in the elections, especially focusing on Wisconsin and Michigan in the most recent elections. And we are here to as an all-volunteer organization to take everything that's happening out there, figuring out what is most strategic and what we can do most impactfully here in Chicago, and helping with all of us to figure out ways of plugging activists and people who want to take action into Chicago into things that they can do that will be impactful and mean things.
And the focus is on Chicago right now, correct?
Our organization, Indivisible, has chapters and affiliated organizations around the country. We focus on the Chicago metropolitan area, so we actually have members and some affiliated chapters that are in the nearby suburbs, but we're mostly focused in the Chicagoland area. But there are organizations like ours all over the country doing the same thing. Right.
But I just, because one of the things that, like, I've been trying to grapple with my own reaction to this and what's my action plan, and it really is like sometimes when you get too big picture, when you look at this gigantic, on the federal level, you see like the ding dongs that are coming in, you see the sycophants that are being approached. It gets a little too big, but if you can focus your gaze down into something more local, something more concentrated, things feel a lot more doable. Like let's start with our city. So what are some of the issues that Indivisible Chicago is focusing on as we head into this very confusing time, to say the least?
So I would say that that's a lot of what we're going to spend our focus on the 25th when we pull together people for continuing the fight event at Columbia College. It's really about how do you take everything that's happening out there and not get caught in the swirl or spend your time focusing on something that ultimately isn't going to be something you can actually influence by action we can take here in Chicago. So a lot of that is understanding and being strategic about what we do. A lot of it is understanding how Chicago and our elected officials, including at the state, local and federal level, can do things that will actually make a difference. Sometimes it means fighting back against things that the incoming administration is going to do in Congress, and we want to put pressure on our federal elected officials. Sometimes it's supporting our allies here in Chicago, especially impacted communities who have legislation that they're trying to move at the city or state level that will provide greater protection. And sometimes it's being vocal and in the streets because we need to have that kind of energy. And it's really trying to take all those strategies and tactics and then figure out from that what are concrete things that we can do.
So reports are saying that Trump is going to start these immigration raids, Project Safeguard here in Chicago, beginning Tuesday. First of all, do you think he's capable of doing it? And if so, what can folks do and what resources do we have?
Well, I think the most important thing we can do is that we understand what people's rights are. Of course, that is most important that those who are going to be targeted understand what their rights are, that they don't have to, they should under no circumstances let an ICE officer into their building or into their home or into their workplace or any other place unless they have a federal court warrant, which they almost never have and almost certainly will not have if they start actions like that this week. So having people understand that, whether you work at, we all know people who are potentially immigrants who could potentially be targeted. And even if you're not targeted, if you ace into a building and there are other people in that building who might be at risk, then you're putting them at risk. So the best thing we can do is make sure everyone understands their rights and make sure that everybody is exercising them and we have each other's back and we're documenting and we're keeping an eye out. I think that's the most immediate thing we can do. Mm-hmm. There are many, many other things that we can do and we'll plan to do. I know there are rapid response networks being set up across the city. And Indivisible Chicago doesn't set those up, but we're going to try to make sure that people in communities don't want to plug into them but don't know where to go and how to do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, as far as whether they're doing something this week, I think we're all reading the conflicting reports in the national press and what's coming out of them, which I think from the incoming administration, we can't believe anything, so anything is possible.
Yes,
right.
I hear you.
That's going to be the tricky thing over the next 4 years because there's no reliable narrator. There's no reliable source.
Check and balance.
Yeah, that's going on here. But one of the things that is so wonderful about Indivisible as a larger organization, but also Indivisible Chicago as a particular organization. If folks go to the website, indivisiblechicago.com, there are so many resources and so many ways to get involved. There's daily actions. There's ways that you can join a chapter. It really is a great way, a resource to help, to find how you can help out, to help go against the MAGA agenda that's going to be rolling down. There is now. I might have gotten this.
If I could just respond, I think
please,
that's the three things. It's like the daily action. You can just sign up on our email. You go to indivisiblechicago.com, as you said. You sign up for the daily action. You'll get an email every day that will list, anywhere from 1 to 3 actions that you can take that day. Some of them are coming up in the future. Some of them are things that are specifically rapid response. There's going to be so many things that we need to quickly respond to. So that is the best way to know, on a daily basis, what is happening. And then, if you have and want to participate in a strategy, you have ideas, you have skills. We are an all-volunteer organization, so there is a role for everyone to exercise leadership within Indivisible Chicago and to find your place. And we really encourage people to come to the January 25th event where we're going to be setting out some of the strategies and tactics that we have and tell people how they can plug in.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there, I thought I saw that there might be an event planned for tomorrow, like a counter-programming, as it were. Is there a rally that's happening?
There is a rally happening at Federal Plaza tomorrow at 11 a.m. Obviously, it's going to be bitterly cold.
Yeah.
There are about 50 organizations that are playing some role in sponsoring or hosting it. Indivisible Chicago is one of those organizations, along with many others. We are not the primary planners of it, but we will be there tomorrow. Some of us are supporting it in some support roles like providing safety, and we'll have our banner there, and we'll be joined by many other organizations in the city. I think we felt that it was important to have some presence. But again, it's going to be really cold tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think the important thing in all of this for people is it's like there's something we can all do. We can do it by acting not individually, but by finding a community, by finding organizations and people we want to take action with, by supporting each other. Because I think that's what gives us hope. That's what's going to enable us to sustain this kind of activity. And I think we can be really smart and strategic. You read a lot in the media lately about, activism is down or people are despondent, but I don't actually feel like we're seeing that so much in Indivisible Chicago. We have a lot of new energy, a lot of new people stepping up. We have, structures and strategies and tools and experience that 8 years ago we were just coming into formation.
Right.
So in some ways we are so much stronger now. And I think that by being in community, by taking action and knowing that no one of us can do everything, but there is something that we can all do, and figuring out what that is for us in a community is really what Indivisible Chicago is about. And I think that's what's going to enable us to do really great work and have hope over the next 4 years and to make a difference.
Yeah, and it also feels like, these reports of that activism is down. It feels more like activism is becoming more, not necessarily selective, but we are, as Rachel Maddow says, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. And there are so many things where it's just like big distraction over here. Look over here. We're going to go to war with Greenland. And then over here, they're really doing the thing over here. So I believe in my heart that we are, as you said, as your organization has grown, we are able to decipher some of the weirdness that is coming out of other places and distill down to like, okay, that's not the real threat. The real threat is over here. There seems to be like a discernment of activism.
I think that's absolutely true. I think we're smarter, we're more strategic, and it's not that there aren't places for all the tools we've used in the past. There are places for those tools, but we have so many more tools now. And I think anyone who's done campaign work and done work, it's like there are things you do to escalate. There are things that have their moment in time as momentum builds, or that you're responding to specific things and energy that's created. So I think we are much smarter, and we are much better structured and able to take and be smart in what we do and when we do it.
Yeah, and we'll learn more about that too when we go to the Continue the Fight event that's on January 25th. Where can you give us all like the brass tacks? Like, where is that happening? What time? Like, how do people get involved?
Yes, it's happening on the 25th, which is a Saturday. We're going to be there from 1 to 4 at Columbia College at 1104 South Wabash, just north of Roosevelt. Columbia College is generous, and CAPE, their student activist group there, is actually co-hosting it with us, so that's where it's going to be. We're going to have a couple of plenary sessions where we hear from leaders of most impacted communities. We hear from other activists, including Ezra Levitt, one of the founders of Indivisible, is going to be able to join us, unfortunately not in person, but by Zoom. But we're going to have other leaders, including former Representative Marie Newman and Jay Young from Common Cause, as well as leaders from immigration, reproductive rights, and the LGBTQ plus community in plenary sessions to really talk to us about the threats, about the most important things we can do, both individually and as organizations in this moment in time to push back. And then we're going to be spending time in workshops really drilling down after we hear about the strategies of how Indivisible is going to work in this moment, a lot of what we just talked about. And then we're going to be spending a lot of time in breakouts talking about and getting input and really engaging the activists who are in the room around the key strategies we have at the state level, at the federal level, and taking direct action and mobilization in our messaging and outreach, how we work in partnerships, all those things. We're going to be doing breakouts and really just kind of getting down into the brass tacks of the work. And what we plan to do is leave the day with a set of actions that we're really committed to take, and that we believe we've been doing lots of work in the last couple months to set up to move forward.
Well, and we are grateful for all the work that you have done and will continue to do. For more information, you need to head to indivisiblechicago.com. The Continue the Fight event is going to be January 25th. You can go to the website, again, indivisiblechicago.com, and you can get all the information there and register. Denise Polyak, thank you so much for joining us.
Just reconfirming the time to make sure I got it right. It's 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
At Columbia College.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for fighting the good fight, Denise. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
For having us on.
And again,
Anytime.
buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yes, it is indeed.
We've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the second hour about Chicago right here on WCPT.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller, rolling along.
Yes, we're rolling. Rolling right into it.
I know, we are rolling into it. We're going to get into it a little bit later on, too. You know, there's so many things that are... It's very bizarre, like the end of TikTok, which I think might even come back. We just got a thing right now. I know. I'm trying to check my news that's happening up here. It might be coming back, but we're going to talk a little bit about that, about all how the LGBTQ community has been now. We are firmly in the crosshairs of what's going on for some unknown reason that's going on, and you know, and then of course, and David Lynch died this week.
Oh, I know.
It's just bananas crazy. Ugh. But we need a reprieve, and I think what always gives me a reprieve is art and creativity, the creative spirit, and joy in seeing human stories that are told on stage. And one of my favorite companies here in Chicago is Porch Light Music Theater. They present Fun Home, the Tony Award-winning musical based on Alison Bechdel's critically acclaimed graphic novel. I believe it opens tonight. And joining us now is director Stephen Shellhart. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Alan. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, our pleasure, Stephen.
I'm glad we could work it out and everything. The show... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I said take two.
Right, I know. But so you've been in previews this past week. How are they going?
They're great. We have been in previews. We started previews on Thursday, and it's always fun to add the audience. Previews are still rehearsals for us. We're still tweaking and sort of putting technical pieces together throughout the week. But yeah, it's been wonderful. The audiences have loved it. I think, as you all have been talking about in the first hour, it's crazy times right now. So digging into a story that centers on the courage it takes to live authentically, I think, has been beautiful. And I think audiences, for me, sitting in the back taking notes during tech and previews, but watching the audience groups of people come to see the show and see their physical change throughout the show. They grab each other's hands. They lean on each other. They hold each other. And I think that's what art is about, but I also think that's what we need right now, stories of hope.
100%, girl. This is like good old-fashioned catharsis is what it is. It's Greek in its origin. The going to experience these stories and actually having a big visceral response. For some of our listeners who might not be familiar with the story of Fun Home, can you tell us a little bit about what the show is about?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's based on Alison Bechdel's 2006 graphic novel, Fun Home. And while the title sounds probably like a light musical, Fun Home stands for funeral home.
Yes.
And it really looks back on
Yeah.
Yeah, so, there is humor very much in this show, but there's also darkness, and it deals with Alison Bechdel growing up. Her life growing up in small town Pennsylvania, a rural small town of 600, with her family, and really centers on her relationship with her father, a closeted gay man who ran the funeral home, was the town English teacher, but also a historian and collector of objects and a restorer of his house, his Gothic revival house. And it really looks at her time, age 9, as well as age 19 at Oberlin College, when she's coming to terms with her sexuality and identity, and at age 43, at the time that her father died, then she's coming to terms with the life that she had growing up, being able to kind of fully embrace her identity while her father was not able to, and coming to terms with how alike and yet different they are as humans.
Yeah, one of the things that the music is gorgeous and stunning, and one of the aspects of this particular show that I just really, really love, and I guess maybe it's just kind of where I am in my life right now, is that moment. We touched on it a little bit last week, but this moment of an adult child looking back at their parents' life and gaining a deeper appreciation or understanding of what they went through. And that feels like one of the biggest things in Fun Home.
It is, yes. And as you say, Janine Tesori is the composer, musicals like Thoroughly Modern Millie, Violet, Caroline or Change, just amazing score. And yeah, it really is that what you just said, that idea that when we get to the point where we either outlive our parents, that's a very interesting moment for people who have that experience, and or the moment that you look at your parent as a pure and adult, and you have to kind of process the memories. This is a memory play, so it goes in and out of past and present sort of seamlessly, and it is interesting to look back on my own life and kind of make me hope to be more empathetic towards others and to try to communicate more honestly with myself and with the people I love. I mean, the show really digs into a lot of deep human behavior.
Yeah.
It's so true, Stephen. And like we were talking about last week, unfortunately for many of us, it's not until they're gone that we go there. And maybe seeing a show like this will encourage people to go there with their parents while they're still with us, because we tend to take things for granted, especially when it comes to parents, until they're gone. So it can be.
Yeah. In the world today, like you've both been talking about, I think digging into the courage it takes to really be able to tell the people you love that you love them, to be able to view them as humans with imperfections and flaws, but we are all human and we are all fighting to be seen and to be heard. And I think that's why Fun Home is so universal to folks, because you either connect to Allison's story or Bruce, her father's story, or you connect to Helen, her mother's story, or you connect to the story of wanting to really live truthfully. And I think, again, as this impending unknown and fear of the world is looming with our community, art and stories like this and musicals like this, I hope will be a respite and escape and a bit of hope for our audiences to say, keep fighting, to go fight, keep being yourself. So it's been a really beautiful experience.
Because love wins in the end. If people just take that leap.
And truth and fact live in the end. And
that's true.
That's what you said. That's it,
Yeah. It does feel like it's a Fun Home that at Porchlight Music Theater really feels like the perfect balm for these times, because it is a really powerful message. Like talking about giving you the feels. Oh, it's so wonderful to have that emotional release going on, and also it's wonderful. And you were alluding to it, how there's little Allison, medium Allison, and big Allison. So what are their challenges of working with young actors? Because there's a couple young actors that are in the show. How was that?
It's wonderful. I am also an actor myself. I love wearing multiple sort of theatrical hats. Longevity, like you said, is key. So I try to just keep my interests open. But I have had the pleasure of working with young performers on many, many shows, whether it's directing them or being on stage with them. And honestly, they give me so much hope. I mean, they're so honest already. The youngest young performer in this show, I think, is 8. My daughter is 7. And it is fascinating because they are they are so honest and so truthful in their performance, and also, talking to them like I treat them like the young professionals they are. They are getting paid for this show.
Yeah.
They are professional artists, and they are in a show that deals with a lot of heavier themes.
Yeah.
And I think it's been really lovely to kind of talk to young performers in the way that they can process and understand it about what it means to be kind and what it means to be empathetic. And they come to rehearsals and they are learning from the adult professional artists, and they're just so much fun to watch. And, honestly, their song in the show, Come to the Fun Home, takes place in the funeral home when they're like hiding in the caskets and escaping from the world of darkness. And it is one of the highlights of the show. The energy, the audience goes crazy. And I just, it's been really a pleasure to watch them because they give me hope for the future of not only our industry, but the future of inclusive, well-rounded, forward-thinking humans.
Of course, that's beautiful. How difficult, Stephen, was it to find just the right actors, young actors, for those roles?
Yeah, it was wonderful. We had a lot of so many young, talented artists come in for the role. I think with Fun Home, it's so interesting. It's been around for a little while now, and it has almost become a period piece in a way of just how, Alison Bechdel, when it came out, was so iconic, and people really, dug into researching who Alison Bechdel was when they saw the show. I think most of our audiences might not even know who Alison Bechdel is, and if they do, they might not know, exactly the creation of this musical. So we've been really trying to find the essence of Alison with our three Alisons, trying to find characteristics, moments where they can be similar in how they are physically moving around the stage or mannerisms, but I'm really trying to just capture the artist's authentic self, and hopefully, even though they may not look exactly alike, and it's not, they're different humans embodying the same person, there is a through line of one sort of journey.
Yeah.
Nice.
In this show.
Yeah, and that's part of it's funny because I was going to ask about the dramaturgical work because, again, Fun Home was a critically acclaimed graphic novel. Alison Bechdel was a huge, I believe her comic was Lesbians You Should Know. Because of her, we have this thing called the Bechdel test, which holds up art where it's like, okay, is there more than one woman in the thing? Are the two women, do they have names? Do they talk about anything else other than a man in these scenes? There is a Bechdel test that goes on, and it's kind of interesting to see were you able to get into any sort of like drama, like big time dramaturgical work, or were you, as you said, just more focused on the, let's find the qualities and the characteristics, the deep essence of the person, or was it a combination of both?
Yeah, it was a combo platter of
right.
both, for sure. I think you have to dig into the dramaturgy. It is a real life story. It is based on real people. It is based in a time that happened with huge events, political, around the world happening. And it takes place in 1969 when Alison's around 9 years old, and then goes through 1979. So if you think about the time that Bruce life ended in 1979 as a closeted gay man who was just coming to terms with maybe being able to live authentically. That time period is really important because it's after Stonewall. It is before the AIDS epidemic. It is a time that was really specific for how our actor who plays Bruce has to walk through the show and kind of and even the Bechdel family, the way we are as siblings and family, and the family rules we had in the 60s and 70s and 80s are much different than they are now. So all the research and all of the dramaturgy is important. We dug into that, and then we allowed it to be the base and foundation and grow from there on the artists who are inhabiting the roles. I think a fresh take on this is important. After a show's been done so much, you want to come at it with a fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
And we really wanted to try to take the graphic novel, the colors of the graphic novel, the blues of the actual graphic novel are in the set. The set is stunning. It's designed by Jonathan Berg Einhorn, and we really wanted to capture this idea that memories are kind of shadow boxes that you place in compartments in your mind until you can kind of see them when you want to bring them forward. So it's a set with tons of shadow boxes and lots of depth and layers of kind of memories that pop up. Isolated, partly graphic novel images and partly real practical furniture in shadow boxes that light up. It's gorgeous. So it's fresh and it's a new take, but it also is deeply rooted in the dramaturgical work.
Sounds like they have the right person in the role of director from what you're...
Well, I appreciate you. I'm so grateful to be able to tell this story, and I'm as a gay man and a father myself, I'm so grateful to be able to tell stories that center on the queer experience, the LGBTQI plus community. I was just in Falsettos at the Court and Timeline this past fall, and it's another musical that is really important to tell right now. And I hope that people come see this show. It's running till March 2nd at the Ruth Page Center for the Arts, and I think you will leave feeling more hopeful, feeling more curious about maybe how you can move forward in a more empathetic way. And I think that's what art should.
Amen to that.
Right.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned Falsettos, because I was showing, I had your picture up on my computer while I was working on the show, and Jerry's like, my husband's going, I know this handsome man, right? How do I, I'm like, Falsettos. He's like, I loved Falsettos. So
One of Scott's very favorites.
it's one of my faves too. So, and there was a gorgeous production down at Court Theater, and I know I'm grabbing my ring of keys to go to Fun Home, presented by Porchlight Music Theater, which I believe it officially opens tonight, right?
It opens tonight.
Break a leg.
All the leg breaking headed your way. And as Stephen said, it runs through March 2nd at the Ruth Page Center for the Arts. Please, please, please go get your tickets. Go see this. If you haven't seen a show from Porchlight, you are missing out. It is one of the best, as Ellen really loves to say, we have an embarrassment of riches here in Chicago, and Porchlight Music Theater always knocks it out of the park. Make sure you head to porchlightmusictheater.org for tickets, and that's theater with an R-E because they're fancy that way. And the show is Fun Home, directed by Stephen Shellhart. Stephen, thank you so much for taking time out today.
Scott, Ellen, thanks for having me. I need to spend Sunday brunch with you more often. You filled my morning up with lots of joy.
Please do.
Please
Feelings
do.
mutual, Stephen.
Tell your friends. There we are. And break all the legs tonight. It's Fun Home by Porchlight Music Theater. Opens tonight. Again, that's at the Ruth Page Center, porchlightmusictheater.org. Stephen Shellhart. Kill it tonight.
Thanks, both of you.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, we got to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's more Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'm Jen Grosshandler.
And I'm Chazzy Grosshandler.
We're with the Gender Cool Project, and you're listening to
Out Chicago!
Woot!
Woot! Woot! Welcome back to Out Chicago. The wonderful folks at the Gender Cool Project. Love them.
We love them.
Love them, love them, love them. They're out there doing some amazing work.
They are.
What's going on out there? Well, speaking of what's going on, there's all this conflicting stuff happening about what's going on with TikTok.
Yeah.
So we all know that TikTok was scheduled to be banned, ended. It went down sometime last night before midnight. So it was.
It's back.
Is it back? Okay,
It's
and
back.
then it's back and it's going on here.
It is back.
All right, but it's so weird. I just don't think, and now it's back again. This feels like such a weird I mean, So we've got this ban on a social media app. It's under the guise of like the Supreme Court unanimously upheld it. Say it did not step on the freedom of speech. It was definitely a security threat that was happening because all of our data, the data of the millions and millions and millions of users, was being collected by the Chinese government. That is basically the crux of it. Even Biden came out later on and said he doesn't think that they should be a ban on it. And then Ding Dong also said that there shouldn't be a ban on it. And then, of course, he's probably going to take credit for doing this thing tomorrow. How do you feel? How do you feel about it? I mean, I know we're not on TikTok. I think Devin might be the one who's...
Well, I have been on TikTok, but I only was thrown into the arms of TikTok when my Facebook account was hacked and I couldn't be on. I needed some kind of connection. But the minute my Facebook account came back, I never did anything on TikTok. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't even know about the craziness.
Well, I mean, these people. I mean, yes, it's crazy. You should see the people on it. They're not. They're nuts. I mean, they're the things that they say, the things that they do. They're just. They have a platform, though. It gives anybody, any schmo in the world who has a camera, a platform. Whether they're
don't do that. The ASMR stuff.
Doing that, or whether they're just yapping about crazy stuff. But it was like. But again, I can understand how people get sucked in because it was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. I think I'll watch it for 2 hours. You know, it's just people have that propensity. But I had no, for me, I know, I mean, people use it. It can be used in a million different ways.
It can be used in a million different ways.
You know, marketing, from marketing to recipes to help, but also there's this dating thing that they do. Have you seen that?
No, I literally, I will only go on to TikTok if somebody sends me a video like, you should watch this.
Right.
And I'm
So
like, okay, I'll watch that. But I don't go through it. I don't scroll. I don't do all these things.
These random people host this speed dating, they call it, or whatever they call it. And they literally have a man or a woman on the phone or online. And then they have these other people, coming in on their, Zoom or whatever, how they're doing it. And then they ask them questions. And it's just it's so bad. But there's so many of these dating things. It's there's hundreds, thousands that people just say, I want to be a celebrity. We're celebrities, you mentioned earlier.
It's a celebrity culture.
Celebrity culture. And TikTok truly manifests that. And
right. And there are times when I understand, yes, there is indeed there's a big community. It gives people a sense of community. There is entertainment that is involved with what's going on there. Some people enjoy these dating things. And I know that for a lot of small business owners, it was a great way to, help spread the word about their small business or their restaurant.
As
whatever
realtors, we put a lot of videos on of homes that we have for sale. We use TikTok for marketing.
Yeah, and that was used as marketing. But there's something about it that I don't know. And again, I think this just confirms that I am firmly rooted in my "get off of my lawn" era, where I'm like,
we are over 50.
I know, but it's one of those things where the fact that people are dating on a phone is weird to me.
And they're from other parts of the world sometimes.
Yeah,
nuts.
But are you ever going to meet in person? IRL, is that even a thing? Is IRL still a thing in real life? It's very strange to me. This is, again, get off of my lawn, but I'm like,
But it helped get him elected, as he will say. It helped get him elected.
Oh yeah. No, I get that.
And that's why he's all for it now. He wasn't for it. He was for the ban too, but he changes with the win. Whatever serves him is what he's going to go with.
I get that.
Well, the crazy thing about the TikTok ban is they use Trump's executive order as the groundwork for it. So Trump's executive order from when he was president, when he wanted, to ban it in his old man lawn. It's like, Trump, you're going to take credit for getting it back. This is your plan. This is your plan they put
in there. Yeah.
Reality does not matter to this person.
Oh, I know. That I know. And again, I understand. But I don't quite understand the real. And this probably is, it's definitely above my pay grade of, understand the real security threat, because when we have other social media sites who are like if they have access to your camera, they have access to your things, to your contacts, they have access to all your information. Like it's real, and people just don't care
because it's China.
Well, I know that.
Ding, ding, Ellen, and all these American companies, the government can say, hey, give us that. And they said, okay. China said no. If you remember the whole thing with the iPhones many years ago where they asked Apple, can we hack into your phones? And they said no.
Yeah.
Right.
So they use the social media accounts to get around it.
To all that.
Won't give them that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I guess, is it a bad thing that it's gone? I mean, because I know some people who are on it, like, a good... between 8 and 12 hours a day.
That's not right. That's just not right. You should be on any social media for 8 to 12 hours a day.
Right. But it's
not healthy.
It isn't. And so that's and for young people, and I understand that we are moving forward, that this is a new time. This is how we do things these days. We've talked about it because I'm like, social media is weird and I don't like... It does. We can clearly see the bad things it does, especially like when it comes to body image and the FOMO and the depression, because everybody's life looks so wonderful and glamorous and fantastic, But so is it a bad thing to take a reprieve from TikTok? And hopefully maybe go out and meet people. This is where I keep going back to the nostalgia. When we watched Stand By Me the other day, last week, do young people know what it's like to go out, to be in the suburbs or to be in the country and to go out and just be gone and left to your own devices to create your own things? My nephews are on screens. That's their entire time. That is their entire social world. Yeah, but just but what is coming from that? The effects of it. They cannot interact in IRL in real life. They have a very hard time communicating with folks. I noticed it back when I was teaching, which now going on, it's that was 15 years ago. But this particular millennials are really great at working together in a group. They can't do anything they'll do things together as a group and they can change the world. Individually, it's really, really hard for them. So, and then I'm feeling now everybody is so individualized that it's hard to even just to have a conversation face to face. Some of my young coworkers, they don't even say hi. It's just it's hard to have any sort of conversation. In terms of going to yes and it's an odd thing. They don't know how to be social. It's sad. I mean, I was happy that it got banned. I thought, you know what? Even if it gets banned for a matter of 90 days, it might get people thinking, wow, I really spent that was a real time suck. Think about all the stuff that you could be doing. I had it explained to me, Scott, heard it explained on the other day, that the issue is if you're a young person and you're on TikTok, once you're an older person and you're in the world and you're in a job that the Chinese government could potentially blackmail you or threaten you because they have everything you've surfed, everything you've done. So it's mainly about the young people that have been on it for years and years that will eventually... Well, it's not just young people who've been on it for years and years. They're the ones that are entering jobs. If you're older, you're already established. But and they could still, you're already established and you're even a better person to come and go after. It's about blackmailing and supposedly leverage against people that they could use this information. Was one of the ways I heard it explained. Okay. Well, but I don't know. It's just, it's a very interesting dance that is happening right now. And I don't know. Well, there's this, and then of course, I'm on Facebook because I'm old and because I have a network of 5,000 people I've cultivated and curated for the last, since 2008 when I got on. People I've met from all over the world through music and travel and everything else, the show here, and I hate to lose that connection. And people are moving to Blue Sky because of obvious reasons with Zuckerberg and what he's doing as far as not fact checking, et cetera. But then I'm hearing people say, but you know what? I have to tell you, Facebook still offers me stuff that Blue Sky does not. So
people are kind of back and forth. It's like a drug, you can't get rid of.
And that's kind of what I was like going for. It just feels like there was a strange addiction that we have to social media. And I'm sure they were saying about the advent of television, when that was going on.
Sure.
But, or when cable TV came around and we had access to movies 24/7, then streaming. Like I'm well aware that things are it's just moving forward, but there is a part of me that's kind of like, at what cost?
We're so far down the road on it.
Let's not even talk about like online dating apps. Like, I miss the days of cruising. I really of going to a bar.
I think they still are happening. It's still happening.
I mean, a little bit in bars, but I'm talking but also on the Clark Street bus or whatever. Like, there was always some sort of fun way of just flirting, and figuring out. And part of it too was also the fact that we didn't have any rights.
How do you know
and everybody
it's not
had
happening? You haven't been riding the bus and trying to flirt.
No, I haven't been riding the bus.
How do you know
because I talk to young people.
And
I'm like, they don't. It's all through Grindr or whatever. It's like people are using these apps.
Yeah, they don't have to leave the house. They don't have to ride the bus. They can just do it on their phone.
I know, but again, it's but not even riding. That was a dumb thing, but it's there's something, I don't know, it's the human interaction that I think that I personally I'm like, ugh.
Hopefully, like they say, what goes up must go down. Things change. Maybe there will be a backlash. I mean, like I said, it's on today. Maybe it'll stay on. But if it does go off for a while, maybe it'll get people to think a little bit about how they spend their time.
Yeah,
but I'm not counting.
I think
on
they're
it.
missing that. I think they're going to be thinking that they really miss it. That's kind of.
I'll tell you, when I was, my Facebook account got hacked, and I was off for 3 weeks during Christmas. I couldn't share Christmas things and see people's pictures. I was really depressed, and I don't get depressed. I really realized.
I know there's a weird dopamine rush that people
I felt like
get.
I couldn't connect with people. I felt like my aunt who just passed away. She was on Facebook almost every day, and. When you have elderly relatives around the country, you don't just pick up the phone and talk to them, but you could keep in their lives through Facebook. And that has been a good thing because I've gotten closer and closer with cousins and family members because we have been able to communicate through Facebook. I mean, there are some positives for sure.
Oh,
but we're down the road on it now so far that we're all, we're lost without our social media.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm not. I've been making a conscious effort to kind of to step aside.
Better man than I.
I'm not saying that I'm better.
No.
I'm just saying that there's something, we have choices to make.
I know. I agree.
About how we spend our time. How we're talking about self-care and joy, finding your joy
more than
throughout.
ever now.
As we're going through this whole thing, that taking a step back might not be bad.
I agree.
To
it's never
go
bad.
back on your time. There was a time when I get my little screen time on my your screen up time update, and it would be you were on your phone for 8 hours a day, and I'm like, oh no, and now I'm on my phone for a total of maybe an hour and a half.
Good.
That's. And part of it is my own thing because I hate doing emails on phone. I can't. It's just too small. I keep doing it. It takes too long to write an email.
I do it.
But because you have to in your job,
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's the dependency that we have on this, and the way that it kind of sucks any sort of personal, interpersonal communication. It just feels.
I mean, look at when you're in line for something. I'm guilty of it too. The minute I'm in line for something. We used to just stand there, maybe look around, maybe engage the person next to you. Now, what do we all do? If there's 1 minute of downtime and we have to just be within ourselves, we pick up our phone and we start scrolling. No matter what the age.
Yeah.
From
I get
from
it.
8 to 80, 88, 90, 102.
We've forgotten what it's like to be bored.
Right.
And
that's truly, it's a constant stimulation that we need that is like a dopamine, like you said. And I'm just as guilty.
Yeah.
The minute I'm waiting for something, Kathy's the same way. We're watching television, there's a commercial. There goes the phones. There's a commercial. Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
I don't
answer
know.
is. I'm
Put
just
the phone
admitting.
down and talk to Kathy. You know, like that's like, you
Well,
know what I
maybe
mean? Like
some of
that-
our callers have an
That's
answer
true.
for
Let's
us.
go to the phones. Let's talk to Lydia in Chicago. Welcome. You're on Out Chicago.
Hi. I am commenting more on something you had said earlier about the reason why TikTok is being banned in America. And I was thinking that it probably has nothing to do with security, because I don't know if the security for those kinds of things in the United States are that great anyway, protecting our young. They won't even talk about gun control, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
I am so thinking that it has a lot more to do with helping out their billionaire friends, and somebody wants to own that and make a lot of money. Why should China be making all that money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could control it.
Right.
Not only make money, but you hear that that on X, that certain right-wing posts get brought up to the top because they have that kind of control over it. And so if they have TikTok in their pocket too, there you go.
More marketing data for us to buy all the things they want us to be buying.
Yep. So thank you, Lydia, for calling and joining
Thanks,
the conversation.
Lydia. Nice to hear
But
from
then
you.
again, like if that is the goal, for like marketing, so that we can go buy stuff. You know, like I mean, really, like I don't know.
And controlling the message, like they're doing, on Twitter. on X.
X is
controlling
like
the message.
It is a total Wild West, and that is the one that I do. If anything, that's kind of where I would spend most of the time, just to go see what's trending, click on those, see what people are mad at today, and then go away from it, and then go do my own research and stuff. But I don't know. There's something really like, especially like. In my other life, I work in a grocery store, and I'm constantly amazed by how many people who just cannot be in human interactions.
Right. I know.
Like people, like they have headphones on, earbuds in, they're on their phone. People have conversations on their phones in public places. You all are awful. I'm just saying it. And I'm looking at you, Helen Miller.
I try not to.
No, you don't. No, you
How
don't.
do you know? You're not with me in
I
public
know,
places.
but because we've talked about this before.
I mean, if I get a call from a client,
you can wait.
I can.
You most certainly
often
can
do.
wait.
Unless it's really something important, I won't pick it up.
Yeah,
I
but
won't
it's just,
pick it up.
but it's just, it's very strange. Like what's going on, and just to even have like, when I'm like, "Hi, how are you? I don't need bags." Great. How are you? That's what I asked. It's like people don't. There's just a weird thing.
And
I know.
And I love social interaction, but
You
when
most certainly do.
But when I have earmuffs that have built-in speakers, and in the winter, when I walk the dog even around the block, I plug it in and I'm listening to something.
Right. Oh,
just to make. If it's cold, just to make the time go
back a
faster
little bit,
when I'm walking the dog. But I remember a couple of years ago, I hit my seat and I went flying down. I said hi to some people and I didn't realize they had earbuds in. And I'm like, what has society gotten to? You can't even say hello to anybody because they're listening to something in their ears. And I have fallen into the same trap.
I know. Like it's a weirdo thing. Anyway, like I said, I am
We got to be better.
in my get off of my lawn era. I am
know.
firmly in that right now. Mostly because the world is weird and gross, but we should probably take a break. But if you want to learn more about the world or whatever, you can listen to This Week on Live, Local, and Progressive. Jen Esposito will be talking with two professors, John Shaw, Allison Dagnes, and Rachel Cobb. DePaul's senior journalist in residence, Chris Burry. The Nation's national affairs correspondent, Joan Walsh. Human rights lawyer, Julie F. Kay. Legal expert and podcast host, Lisa Graves, and so much more. You can listen to Live, Local, and Progressive Wednesdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central right here on WCPT 820. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments of Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
I'm Honey West. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller. Here
Honey
we
West,
go.
she was at the New Year's party I was at.
Well, there we go.
Who knew?
Fabulous. You did.
We knew all
and
the
Honey
fun
knew.
people.
All the fun people. Amazing. There we go. Before we went to the break, I was on my get off of my lawn rant about
Yes.
cell phones and social medias and everything. Let's go to the phones. John in Deerfield. Seems like you want to weigh in on the conversation. Welcome to Out Chicago.
Well, thank you. I have a solution to some of the issues that have been brought up. And what I do is I simply don't carry my cell phone with me during the day. When I get home, then I play my messages and do whatever I need to do. That way, when I'm out, I can listen to the birds, I can talk to people, I can do whatever I want. But I don't touch my phone. I don't have it there. What do you think about that idea?
Well, I think it's a good idea, but
don't-
it kind of seems like it makes the point of having a mobile phone moot. You know,
And
why not just have a landline?
And are you?
You know?
And do you still
Well,
work? Are you a working person?
Yes, I am. I still work. And I found that there's really nothing that can't wait a few hours. I mean, rarely. There's exceptions to that, of course. But really, it depends how you prioritize your time in life.
Yeah.
For the most part, it can wait until 4 or 5 in the afternoon, honestly.
Well, there we go.
At
Well,
least that's what I've learned.
John, I love that you've taken this initiative, and thank you for sharing that with our listeners. I'm glad that you found something that works for you, and I applaud your resolve for that.
Try it. Try it. You may like it.
All right, I will
you.
definitely try it, and I may like it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
You know,
You can do it.
Thank you.
You can do it.
I thank you for the belief in us. Thank you. Thank you.
have you ever had to leave your phone, or when you get a new phone and you have to, or you broke your screen, you had to leave it with
I feel
somebody,
like I've cgot caught up.
and you
tears
have
of
to
limb.
leave it, and you're like, oh, I needed to use my phone to do this. I needed to use my phone to do that. Plus, if you are in certain occupations like mine,
Yeah.
which is real estate, I can't
time
in
is
good
of the
conscience
essence,
be
yeah.
the kind of person that waits 4 or 5 hours to respond to somebody. I won't be in business for very long because it's just not the way certain occupations work.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I will also say it's sort of freeing when it has happened by accident or by whatever the circumstance. Well, I don't have my phone to look at. There's this nervous thing, and then there's this kind of peace.
Let's just kind of be here.
But I can't do it full time. Just
Yeah,
like
no,
a once in a
I'm
blue moon, I can do it.
No, I'm with you on that. And also right now mine is just basically like a very expensive pedometer. Just I like to track my steps.
Yeah.
What's going on there.
There's so many things.
Yeah, but I don't know. I
It
think
is
just
good if
being
you can do
I
it.
think definitely not even I just think I'm not asking people to John was a very extreme example, and then it works for him, which is
Yeah,
great to
I'm
leave
happy that it
your
does.
phone home all day. But I think that there's if you just be kind of aware of, I'm pulling this out. Why am I pulling this? What am I doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know. There we are. Who knew we'd be turning into this whole thing about social media and
Well,
cell
it's
phones?
important.
And it'd be light up the phones. Let's talk to Emilio in Oak Brook. Welcome. You're on Out Chicago.
Yes, hi. I would just like to say, when I woke up this morning and it was bad, I had a friend text me to download Red Note, and it really is almost. I mean, it's basically the same thing, same layout, same setup, same people I used to follow. I mean, but it's even more the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? You get a lot of attention TikTok refugees, videos and things, and it's usually Chinese people trying to teach us basic. Mandarin and Chinese or whatever, just because they know that when we're shuffling through these videos that, it's not going to be a lot American yet because, people were just getting off TikTok. So, and that's, it's not getting to the point where it is like TikTok, but it really is, basically the same thing. So I feel like, I don't know why they even got this law in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And I really hope that it doesn't make Biden look bad, that, he wanted to take it away and then Trump saves the day. You know what I'm saying?
They both wanted to take it away, and then they both changed their minds. So that's the thing that we have to
Right.
remember about this whole thing. But right now it is up and running, Emilio. So get your TikTokies, scrollies, and all that stuff going on. Thank you so much for giving us a call.
you,
Have a
Emilio.
great day.
Appreciate
Stay
it.
warm out there.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you too.
thank you. Same to you. You know, tomorrow's going to be a weird day. It is the day that we honor Martin Luther King and the work that he did for civil rights. It's also the day that Ding Dong is being inaugurated again. This giant poop parade has been moved inside this year because it's going to be too cold for his little tiny hands. It's going inside the Capitol Rotunda, which of course seemed just very, very strange. That was the site of the insurrection, and it is going to be happening there. I'm sure it has pissed off a lot of people who made all those donations to get in there because it only holds about 600 people. So,
and the other irony is the next day he may be pardoning a lot of people that were in that same exact building doing all sorts of horrible things.
Yeah, you
It's
know,
a
and again,
lawless world
and
we're
the
living
thing
in.
that really drives me crazy when it comes to the GOP and on days like Martin Luther King, when we honor somebody who was a pacifist, somebody who went nonviolence to talk about the advancement of civil rights. The thing that they always love to quote is being judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. That is something that people love to throw out this day. And if we are really judging people by the content of their character, I want them to look around and see these horrible folks.
Horrible.
I mean, again, people who are out for themselves and themselves only, people who have made false promises that they never any intention of keeping. That is the thing that drives me absolutely bonkers, because if we have reached a point where we are able to celebrate the content of someone's character and not the color of our skin, then there still wouldn't be food deserts in predominantly black neighborhoods. There wouldn't still be a police that is going after predominantly black citizens. There would not be an ICE, an immigration thing that might be coming in to get rid of black and brown things. Again, do you see a pattern here? When they want to talk about the content of character and not the color of their skin, they are not taking time to get to know the content of their character. They are looking solely at the color of their skin.
Yes.
And that is the thing that really makes me throw up in my mouth. Even more so than the fact that he's going back in. We're buckling up for another 4 years of this just complete ridiculousness, complete ridiculous and shambolic government.
Shambolic, I like that word.
It's a good word, and it's very apt as to what's going on with the transition.
It is.
What's going on with these cabinet nominations and things, and it is. We have to stay aware, and we have to know which fights that we can fight, because when they talk about like invading Greenland or hostile things or making Canada the 51st state, that's horsepucky. We know that is dumb. That is not going. Sure, let's all get outraged about that, but I'd be more mad about the tariffs that are going to be set up there. I'm more mad about the fact that they are just using the trans community as this punching bag, passing legislation in the House that they're so worried about trans women competing in women's sports on the collegiate level. There are 10 out
of 510,000.
10. And this is how we're spending our time and our money. This is what we need to be looking at. We need to be looking at these people who are trying to make an example, and how
Fear and
ironic.
hatred.
Fear and hatred. And the most ironic thing, after we've had this whole big conversation about social media and about TikTok, and I understand, the importance of it. It is a way for people to connect to one another. It is a place for people to organize, to come together, to, fight a good fight. It's also a place for like misinformation and lies to spread really quickly. Where, we've talked about a lie can spread halfway around the world before it can be fact checked.
That's true.
And that's part of the things. But at the same time, I came across this little gem on some social media site, and I thought it was worth repeating as we are heading into this very crazy, very tumultuous time. In the coming weeks, people who don't believe in your rights will expect you to be the bigger person or to forego your power to bend to their will. Don't you dare. Don't you dare forget who you are. And don't you dare stop fighting back for justice. Now is not the time to be gracious or people-pleasing. Now is the time to remind people the whole world isn't Utah or Arkansas, and we don't subscribe to an ideology of submission to those who hate us. Now is the time to get reconnected with your inner power, intuition, fulfillment, joy, right to stand up for yourself, your communities, and your purpose. Resistance takes many forms, and honoring yourself is one of them.
Amen to that.
And that is something that I want to leave with you all as we head into, again, talking about the content of character versus the color of someone's skin, talking about having a dream that all people are created equal, all of these things. It's going to be a scary time, but remember to find your joy. Remember who you are. Remember who you are in these times and to live your values. That is the most important thing you can do, because if your actions back up what your words are saying, you've already beaten them.
That's right.
Because their actions are not following up with their words, with what they are saying. So please honor yourself and live your values.
Keep hope alive.
And on that, I'm going to kick aside this soapbox and get ready to go out into a very cold, cold, chilly day. So everybody, please stay warm out there. Keep your head up. And we got this.
Try not to watch tomorrow.
We got this. Yeah. And also a reminder, go to indivisible.chicago.com to find out about the event that's happening on the 25th. Thank you to Denise Polyak from Indivisible Chicago and Stephen Shellhart from Porchlight Music Theater's Fun Home. Thank you so much for doing that. Devin, you are amazing. Paul, you're doing a pretty good job today, too. I'm feeling very generous.
Yeah.
I'm honoring you. Ellen Miller, we're going to miss you.
Thank you. I'll miss you, too. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'm sorry about all the things that are going on,
yes.
but I'm happy that you are able to have somebody to celebrate, which is a good thing.
Thanks, Scott.
And I'm Scott Duff, and until next week, stay proud.